A flurry of media activity on the border between Thailand and Cambodia days into a ceasefire reached earlier this week. The Royal Thai Army and Foreign Affairs Ministry arranging a tour for international media on the Thai side of the border to sites of recent clashes. The Thai effort coming 2 days after foreign military attachés from major powers and ASEAN member countries paid a visit to a now-closed Cambodian border checkpoint in Previha province, which borders Thailand's Ubon Ratchathani, part of a tour organised by Cambodia's Defence Ministry. And for more, CNA's Saksith joins us live from the Royal Thai Air Force headquarters in Bangkok and Leong in Odamente in Cambodia. Saksith, let's start with you first. Today, the first tour for you on the Thai side of the border, coming 2 days after Cambodia held its first tour. Is that timing coincidental?
It doesn't seem very coincidental at all. We just got a military plane after a field trip all day long on this Friday that was touted by the Thai government and by the Thai army as a fact-proving mission that led over 2 dozens of delegates, defense attachés and diplomats from 2 dozens of countries, and also many of our colleagues from the international media that have then descended to Ubon Ratchathani and Saksith, 2 of few provinces bordering to Cambodia that have been witnessing the scenes of these clashes, and they have taken us to many different locations where they were showing us that the civilian places that have been hit by rockets were the result of, in their words, Cambodian aggression. And we also went to a refugee center there, we also to show the impact on the civilian population there. And this was all in a part to basically get ahead of the narrative, to set their story straight, to give their point of view, and also to counter the narrative that came from Cambodia in the past couple of days, even though the weapons have fallen silent in the couple of days since we had the ceasefire. But the war of words, the battle over the sovereign narrative, still continues.
All right. Waikit, you heard Saksith there. The war of words continues. Thailand wanting to get its side of the story in. This first tour today for Saksith. You have been on the second tour, so Cambodia got in ahead with its narrative.
Yeah, that's right. The first official tour by the Cambodian authorities was on Wednesday. That was organized for defense attachés. And as you've heard Saksith say earlier, on the Thai side, they couched it as a fact-proofing mission. On the Cambodian side, it appears similar objectives were made on this side, because the defense attachés were brought to Previha border crossing, and it was there that the Cambodian authorities, the Cambodian soldiers, had accused Thailand of encroaching into that area, giving 2 examples of how Thailand had breached the ceasefire, including one case of capturing 20 Cambodian soldiers. So that was something that happened on Wednesday, that tour. Earlier today, the tour was for ambassadors. They visited areas in Odamienche, including a destroyed monastery and a school nearby. I stayed on after they left. I independently spoke to people around that area. In the monastery, a monk told me that they were just 2 kilometers away from the fighting on July 24th, when shelling destroyed not only the property and the monastery, but also killed 1 person. Just down the road was a school, and that school accommodates to 200 children whose age ranges from 3 to 15 years old. There were no casualties because the teacher told me that on the day of the bombing, of the shelling, it so happened that it is their once-a-month staff meeting. So students didn't have to come to school, and the meeting was not held on the school compound. Now, the school was affected by the shelling. The roof was destroyed. Parts of the schools were damaged. And I was also told by the teacher that since late May, when tensions first surfaced between Cambodia and Thailand, the teachers had built bunkers for the children. And even though the kids never had to use the bunker for real, they've gone through several rounds of emergency drills.
All right, Saksith, Waikit there. With those details of what's happening to civilian lives, anything that involves border, sovereignty, a clash of history, historical narratives and cultures, invariably public emotions and sentiment, they can get fairly emotive as well. How is the public in Thailand assessing how they feel their government did handling this particular border crisis?
you kind of hit the nail on the head. The emotions are running very high and have been running very high, not only with this border conflict. We have to put this a little bit into context because for basically most of this year and maybe a couple years before that, public sentiment in Thailand has been bit in probably not the best of moods. We have an economy that is not doing very well ever since the pandemic. We have a political crisis that is going on right now, which sees the current Prime Minister, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, suspended. Even an earthquake earlier this year that has literally rattled the souls of people here, especially here in the capital, Bangkok, and now a border conflict on top of that as well. So you can kind of imagine that the nerves of the Thais are pretty frazzled. And then seeing online, the war of words that I described coming forward, and then seemingly in the eyes of the Thais that the Cambodians were getting ahead of the narrative curves. That is why a lot of people were actually pointing fingers at their own government, blaming them that they were dragging their feet, not getting their point of the story out. But this is why we were actually part of this government tour trip as well, showing us not only the civilian targets, especially the convenience store that has been hit by a missile, where 7 Thais have died, that has become somewhat of a symbol in many eyes of the Thais of Cambodian aggression towards Thailand as well. And but also, as I said, it's also a war on the media front as well. A lot of international media were invited, including CNA, but even more local media were waiting for us in the front to essentially film us doing our work as well, to basically show, hey, the eyes of the world are looking at Thailand as well. And then, of course, there's the online sphere as well. There's, of course, a complete troll war going on both sides of the border as well. Unfortunately, I have to say that Thai journalists here were targeted as well, especially those that are working in the international media. They always say, don't become the story. But unfortunately, we have become the story in some eyes of some people as well. But there's a hope that this might not only get the point across, but they're also trying to calm things down a little bit as well. We have on good authority that there will be another tour, a similar tour for ambassadors as well, kind of similar on the trip that Waikit was on earlier today as well. But going forward, there needs to be, of course, a solution to this border conflict, and that there will be a general border committee taking place next week, not in Cambodia that was initially planned, but in Malaysia now, because there has been a request from the Thais because of the sensitivity. We also hear some security concerns that has been now moved over to Malaysia that will take place next week, and hopefully also get a more permanent solution to the current ceasefire.
All right, Waikit, a final question to you. Saksith mentioned this meeting of the General Border Committee in Malaysia next week. We've heard a little bit more from Malaysia's Armed Forces Chief saying there will be a pre-meeting and then a meeting the next day with ASEAN defence ministers as well as observers. ASEAN playing a part in ensuring peace continues between Thailand and Cambodia.
Yeah, very quickly, picking up on Saksith's point, Cambodia has also agreed to having the meeting held in Malaysia. Instead of a one-day meeting, as you said, Wei Sun, it's now going to be a 4-day meeting. And although we don't have the full details of what will be discussed there, it gives you a sense of just how extensive those talks would be. At the end of the day, it is about observing peace, bringing peace back to people of both sides of the border and ensuring that there's no more crossfire. Now, another topic that may come up during those 4 days meeting could be the ASEAN monitoring team, which will keep track of the progress of the ceasefire. So far, I understand that among the countries who are keen to be on that team include Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei, and the Philippines. Final details have to be ironed out, including finding a headquarters for this team, as well as working out a mechanism for it to become a permanent feature, because they will be looking at future cross-border crossfire.
Thanks. Saksith Saiyasombut live from Bangkok, and Leong Waikit from Order Menche in Cambodia.